The evening had begun like something out of a quiet dream. Warm lighting, gentle music, a little restaurant that made the rest of the world blur at the edges. I kept my hand on the small of Sarah's back as we walked in, expecting nothing more than an easy dinner with a couple of coworkers. I never imagined it would be the night everything shifted. The moment we stepped inside, I noticed it. The quick way her gaze slid past me and landed on some man I'd never seen before. Relaxed posture, friendly smile, and then the way she smiled back. Not a polite grin. Not the kind you give a stranger out of courtesy. A soft, glowing smile I hadn't seen directed at me in months. It hit me so hard, I almost lost my breath. I tried brushing it off, tried telling myself I was imagining things. I wanted to be the level-headed husband who wasn't threatened by a simple smile. But as the night went on, I kept catching her glancing at him, leaning in a little closer when he spoke, brushing her hair back the way she used to when she wanted my attention. And the laugh, the one that once belonged to me, floated across the table like a reminder of everything that had been slipping away. I felt myself shrinking into my chair as my chest tightened. Every small gesture carved another crack in me. The light in her eyes, the warmth in her voice, the gentle touch she gave his arm, so casual, so intimate, snapped something inside. In that moment, watching her glow for someone else while acting like I wasn't even there, I realized something quietly, painfully final. So I stood up. No drama. No confrontation. Simply a coat on my shoulders and a decision settling like a heavy stone in my stomach. A few people glanced up, puzzled. She didn't notice. That hurt more than anything. I walked toward the exit, feeling as though each step carried me out of the life we'd built. My hand had just reached the door when her voice cut through the room. Wait, it wasn't a reprimand or a plea tossed out casually. It was raw, shaking, terrified. I froze. The room fell silent. Even the man she'd been smiling at frowned in confusion. I turned slowly. She stood halfway between the table and me, breathing hard, her face drained of color. The confident, glowing woman from moments before was gone. In her place stood someone who looked like she was barely holding herself together. Her eyes, wide, wet, desperate, found mine. "I need to talk to you," she whispered, barely audible. "Please." Something in her expression chipped at my anger. This wasn't guilt. It was fear. Deep, suffocating fear. I stepped away from the door. She didn't move closer, as if approaching me might cause her to crumble. "I wasn't smiling at him because I wanted him," she said, her voice trembling. Her hands trembled too, and she clasped them tightly. I smiled because I wanted to feel normal for a moment. I wanted to remember what it felt like not to be afraid. The man shifted uncomfortably, realizing he'd been caught in something far bigger than he understood. Our friends exchanged uneasy glances. "You don't know," she said, her voice cracking. "Because I didn't tell you. And I didn't tell you because I couldn't stand the thought of seeing the way your face would change." She wiped at a tear, frustrated at herself. "I thought if I pretended, if I laughed, joked, acted fine, I could forget, even just for a minute, what the doctor said to me." Everything inside me went still. She lowered her head, shame practically radiating off her. "I'm sick," she whispered. "I didn't tell you because I didn't want to ruin your life or make you feel trapped. I didn't want to become someone you had to take care of. So I kept smiling, even at strangers, just to feel alive." Her voice broke completely. "But when you walked away tonight, it shattered something in me." She took a weak step toward me, trembling so hard it looked like she could collapse. "I was terrified you'd leave if you knew the truth. That if you saw how scared I am, you'd stop loving me. But watching you walk away," she swallowed hard, tears streaming freely. "I realized I can't face any of this alone. Not for a second. Even the awful parts. I want you with me." Her honesty struck me like a bolt. The anger I'd wrapped myself in dissolved under the weight of everything she'd been hiding. In that quiet room, with every pair of eyes on us, I felt my heart shift from fury to something heavier but truer. I moved toward her, my voice barely above a whisper. "You should have told me," She nodded, crying harder. I didn't know what her diagnosis was. I didn't know what battles lay ahead. But as I reached for her shaking hand, one truth settled in my chest with startling clarity. I had walked in tonight ready to let her go. And now, holding her hand, I knew I wasn't going anywhere.